What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, guys, we are finally back with another Hot Toys figure unboxing, and in today's video we are featuring Iron Man Mark III red and chrome version from the movie Iron Man. This figure, I'll be honest with you guys, I've had it in my closet for a couple of weeks now, actually a couple of months, but unfortunately I've kind of made priority of other figures to unbox first, and then also with my collection tour and the top 10 figures of 2024 and the ones coming in 2025. I'll be honest, I was slacking with the figure unboxings, and I do apologize about that, but today we are finally back with one, and this is, I promise you guys, just the beginning. I have a lot of figure unboxings coming to the channel, so stay tuned in, as there will be a lot of unboxings dropped in the next upcoming days and weeks. This figure specifically, I did get it on Sideshow Collectibles. Now, unfortunately, this is an exclusive figure, so there are no more figures available. So as much as I would love to include the link for you guys to order the figure, he isn't unfortunately available, but can't wait to go ahead and get started with this figure unboxing. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, starting off with the design of the box. So I really didn't expect a lot, because this is just an alternate figure of Iron Man. To me, I like the box art. Again, it's not too detailed, but I like it. Pretty much it's just a red color box with silver, or I guess chrome coloring. We get the name of the movie. We get the Sideshow exclusive logo at the top right, the arc reactor in the middle of the box, the name of the figure, the diecast logo at the very bottom, and once again, this horrendous warning logo for the batteries. I understand that they have to drop the warnings for us, but at the same time, I think to me, this ruins the box in some ways. I wish they would put it in the bag where all the warning and legal information from Hot Toys comes included. Unfortunately, we get it in the front again, just like we've had with other figures. Here on the right, which is the foam cover for the figure, we get the arc reactor again as a part of the design. On the back, warning and legal information, and the color scheme pretty much continues, the red and chrome coloring, which to me looks really good. Again, even though this box isn't too detailed, I do like the design of it, and again, for an alternate figure, I think it will do, so I don't have any issues with it. Here on the left side, we just pretty much get the Stark Industries logo at the top, the name of the figure, and once again, we continue with the same color scheme. So no issues whatsoever with this box design. I think it's very nice. Actually, excuse me, no, I do have a big issue, and that's that warning pretty much label on the top of the box, which I just don't understand why they have to put it there. So that would probably be my only complaint, but other than that, I think pretty much we're off to a good start with this box design. Okay, now onto the foam cover. So we pretty much have the logo Mark III and then the name of the figure right there on the foam cover, which I'm pretty used to with these Iron Man figures. I'm always used to them including a lot of plastic wrapping paper on top of it to protect the figure itself. First impressions for Mark III red and chrome version. Well, I expected him to be heavy, but he's heavier than even what I thought he would be. This might be the heaviest Iron Man figure I have ever received, but man, he looks really cool. I really am liking the color schemes with the figure. It's very shiny and bright, and I did not expect that in person, but I really like the look of it. Yeah, I must say I'm not disappointed at all. It looks really good. So now that we've gotten to take a look at the figure, we'll start with the accessories. We'll take a look at the figure in full detail. We'll do a couple of side-by-side comparisons, and of course at the end I'll do poses and final thoughts of the figure. Okay, get into the accessories. So sadly, we don't get a lot of things, and that's something that's not normal with Iron Man. Usually with Iron Man, we'll get a lot of details and accessories, but not in this case. Now, I really love the display base. This display base is going to be used a lot with future Iron Man figures. This is the first time that I get to take a look at it. So it's pretty much a circle featuring the arc reactor. We do get pretty much the nameplate of the figure, and the color scheme is supposed to be represented in the figure, so it's red and chrome. I really like the look of it. And then also the white parts are supposed to turn on just like an arc reactor. It does also have a crotch holder, which I don't mind, but I would prefer a flight pole with a waist clamp, so that way we can have the figure in a flying position. This thing does not have any batteries. Instead, it is a USB cable connected. Thankfully, I do have my own USB cable, since Hot Toys will never include theirs, and pretty much the light up effect is really good. Even if my camera doesn't show it, I've never had any issues with the light up effects when it comes to Iron Man figures. They always do a pretty good job. The only issue that I've had with Hot Toys is with lightsabers covers for Star Wars characters, but to me the display base is good and I like it a lot. And then with the hand pieces, we get the same hand pieces that we always get with regular Iron Man figures. So we get the two figures to have him in the shooting beam, pretty much in the shooting beam position, and then we have these with the articulated fingers that pretty much can be posed in any single way. The only difference is that these articulated fingers do have the see-through hole in the hand. That way the LED lights do turn on, and I believe for previous figures I didn't get that option. Thankfully I do with this one. So it's going to come with these four hands and also the closed fists that I did not include in this imagery. Those are the ones that came with the figure, so not any issues with the hands. Probably could have included more, but I think what we have is pretty good. And then we have some add-on accessories that go along with the figure itself, so these are interchangeable. The two on the right are for his shoulders, and then on the left are pretty much missile kind of accessories. Those would be included on the forearm of the figure. Those are accurate to the Mark III, and obviously I already am an owner of the Mark III, but not from Hot Toys, but from I think ZD Toys, which I will display a little bit later. These pieces also do go onto his wrist. I don't remember these, but if you guys can kind of remind me where these come from. But what I can say is that I really love the color scheme. I love the kind of black metallic coloring to it, and then the red goes very well with it, so I don't mind these pieces at all. They're very nice, and they are supposed to go also on the forearm of the figure. Last but not least, these would be kind of his flap wings. They go attached onto his backside. Usually these would have already been attached to the figure. I'm not sure why they come separate of the figure, maybe just to kind of add on more accessories to it. As I mentioned before, the color scheme looks great. The red is very shiny, and one thing that I do mind is that they're clip-ons. These are articulated, but they have clip-ons to go attached onto the figure, and I do have a problem with that because these type of accessories can break very easily if we just detach and attach it to the figure. So it's going to be one of those things where I'll try to just attach it one time and just leave it on to avoid any issues. So for now, guys, this would pretty much be it for all of the accessories. Okay, now getting to Iron Man himself. So this is one of those figures, guys, that I actually did get a chance to do a figure preview on. My thoughts on it, honestly, I was happy with it. I was, I guess I was okay with it, but I wasn't too thrilled about the idea. I guess to me, it just seemed like another Iron Man, and I really didn't think anything too much of it. But now looking at this figure in person, I gotta tell y'all, this might be my favorite Iron Man. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's an alternate version to the guy, but the thing is that how shiny the pieces are, especially the chrome parts or the silver color parts. Everything is chrome, right? But obviously the colors are silver and red, but the silver part of it is just so shiny and bright. Probably when I'm done with this video, I will probably clean the figure with a paper towel, so that way I can kind of take off my handprints on it just to make it even more shinier. But just the color scheme is so amazing. I like everything about it. It looks so good. Again, as I mentioned before, right, it's just a different look to the guy. I'm not sure if this is the first ever chrome version we get for an Iron Man figure, but to me personally, for this Mark III, it is a great look to it. Now, the Mark III that I own is from CD Toys. I don't have a Hot Toys one, so I really wouldn't know how that one looks. If you guys can kind of help me out on similarities and differences between these two figures. Now, as far as LED batteries, they're going to go in the same place, so as always, we get some for the helmet to turn on. Pretty much the way that you install them is pretty easy. On the back side, this is probably the easiest way that I've ever gotten the batteries installed. So pretty much you just remove the flap wing and you can turn on and turn off, right? The batteries do go on the middle by taking off that silver part. So just kind of an FYI. One issue that I do have with the suit is the shoulder pads. So the way that they're installed, they remind me of the Hono Studios Wolverine, where it's a clip-on that goes attached onto the armor on the shoulder. To me, I kind of have an issue with this because I feel like it's going to get removed very easily by whenever I post the figure in different ways. Going back to the batteries, so right there on those silver kind of parts by his biceps, that's where you guys would pretty much install the batteries and turn them on. Those parts right there on the right is where the other pieces go installed that I mentioned before with the accessories. Right here on the silver parts of his legs is where the other batteries go for his legs, and this would be a first for me. So pretty much the part that gets turned on the legs is right here by pretty much moving these parts away. So the suit itself does have some parts of the suit that opens. Not everything opens, but just some parts to it. So obviously you guys can see the calves, they pretty much open apart. Right here on his waist, some things also open up a little bit just to kind of show different motion with the figure itself. The circular part also moves a little bit. His chest piece is removable, which is something that I like a lot, but even though we don't have anything to replace it with, but I guess just to give a different look to the figure itself. So it's pretty much just attached via clip-ons, and the good thing is that it's really easy to remove and really easy to put back on. So just kind of an FYI, I don't see a purpose of why to remove it, but just kind of wanted to show you guys that that is an option that we get with the figure. So pretty much just the figure itself, I like it a lot. I like the color schemes, everything about it. We are off to, I would say, a pretty good start with it. Okay, so I did go ahead and turn on the LED lights. I'm sorry, not the LED lights, but the battery lights, just to kind of show with the figure and how it looks. So as I mentioned before, I've never really had any issues with the light up effects with Iron Man figures, or in that case any Marvel figure. My only issue has always been with Star Wars characters and their lightsabers. So as you guys can see right here on its legs, this is the first time that I ever get a Iron Man figure with these type of light up effects, and to me it looks really cool. It has this kind of light blue type of coloring effect to it that just is so nice, and it's very bright, and I really like it a lot. The only unfortunate part, I guess, would be that the light up effect is on the back part of the figure, so whenever I post it, it's not something that I'm going to be able to see a lot. But still in all, I would say that it looks pretty cool. I like the light up effects a lot, and yeah, it's pretty much something normal, so no issues with it as well. So now on this next part of the video, I am going to go ahead and install the waist parts as well as the shoulder parts, just to show different looks to Iron Man. And there we have it. So now we have the shoulder parts attached to it. Something that I am so glad is that they are attached via magnets, so they are very hard to come apart. I really like how they look on him, and again, I just love whenever I get options as a collector to post a figure. And by the way, guys, my apologies if my hand is shaking. It's just the figure is that heavy. I'm carrying it with one hand, but I promise y'all nothing is wrong with me. It's just the figure itself is that heavy. The figure just looks cool, man. I can't describe it in any other way. It looks really cool. I love how everything looks about him. And as I mentioned before, the color scheme is just that great. Okay, and then these are the other parts that go attached onto them. So I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this, just because it's kind of too wide, the piece. Now I know it's accurate to the suit itself, but me personally, I think I would prefer to go with the other missile accessories that match the width of the actual arm. I just think it looks a little bit better personally and more natural. I feel like these pieces are a little bit too wide. So again, it's not a bad look to it, but I just think some other pieces go better with it. And then right here, as you guys can see, I pretty much went ahead and opened up everything just to kind of show the figure with every single piece of accessory. Again, I just love the fact that we get those options with Mark III. Gets a lot of options to open up certain pieces of the suit itself. So to me, it looks really nice, and I really don't have any complaints about the figure so far. Okay, now I went ahead and went back to the normal part of, to the normal setup with the figure, remove all of the accessories because I did want to go ahead and take a look at articulation. So starting off with the bottom part, so his boots pretty much do have articulations at the bottom, so that's a good thing. It gives me options to pose the figure. Pretty much on the ankle, it moves in different ways. It is attached differently to the leg itself, so you guys can pretty much swivel to the left and right, top and bottom, and I think it moves really easily. So that is is a good thing. I feel like I won't have any issues. Also, the good thing is that some parts of the suit open up, as I mentioned before, so the feet extend a little bit higher, and the same thing for the legs. So the good thing about the legs is that because some parts of the waist open up, I feel like I can move the leg a little bit more. Now, unfortunately, the knees don't extend that much as I would have wanted it to be. So I've always wanted to create that pose where the guy is kind of in one knee, but I've never been able to create it. I'm really afraid of breaking the figure. So just know that I'm not going to try to create that because I just don't feel like the figure moves that well. The waist itself, I like the fact that it moves a lot. So it has that division in between his chest area and his abs. So it does move very nicely. With arms, same thing. It moves very nicely to the sides. But my issue is in the elbow part. So as you guys can see, it doesn't bend that much as I would have wanted it to be. And I'll be honest, that's going to be a little bit of a complaint of mine, because the thing is that since the elbow doesn't move that much, as you guys can see right now, whenever I post a figure shooting beams out of his hands, I feel like it's not going to be as poseable as I would have wanted it to be, and I feel like that the position is not going to be that natural with the pose. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with me on that, but I just feel like for this specific Iron Man, the arms don't extend as much as some other figures. Now, the head sculpt itself moves very nicely. It moves to the top, to the sides very well, and that is a great thing. I feel like I'll have great options posting this figure with the head sculpt, and pretty much I would say with every single other part of the body except for the arms. I feel like it's going to limit me a little bit, but I'm hoping that I can find a way to work with the figure. But so far, I think everything looks nice. Just the articulations could have been a little bit better. But yeah, everything else looks good. To me, my favorite part of the suit so far is the color schemes with the red and chrome and how bright that suit is. Okay, and now for a couple of side-by-side comparisons. So I didn't want to just put any Iron Man just to do a random comparison. So on the left side, I have my Mark III from CD Toys. I believe that's the name of the company. This figure to me is still very valuable. The guy only cost me around $75, and yes, he's pretty much made out of plastic. The body proportions aren't great. He's too loose. The color scheme isn't that great compared to a Hot Toys figure. So obviously, I would say that's kind of obvious because of the price range. But to me, if you're somebody who likes to collect figures but doesn't like to spend too much on them, I think the Mark III from CD Toys is not a bad option. The guy is pretty big, by the way. He's a 1/5 scale. That's why he's bigger than my red and chrome figure. But the thing about the red and chrome version is that, again, and to me, I'm not sure if this is just my favorite look on an Iron Man figure, but getting that option of getting a super bright and glossy kind of paint applications or color schemes to a figure is such a treat. And to me, I'm really loving those color schemes on this Iron Man figure. For the red and chrome version, it's just a different look to an Iron Man, and it just looks so cool. No question about it. The color schemes are better than the CD Toys figure, but again, as I mentioned before, because of the price range, that is completely understandable. Also, remember, guys, the Mark III, it is the first ever suit that we get from Iron Man, whereas the original red and gold color. Obviously, Mark II was silver, and well, Mark I is Mark I. But still in all, to me, I like the fact that I have both of these figures. I'm hoping one day I can buy the regular Mark III 2.0 by Hot Toys to kind of match up with these guys. And then my next side-by-side would be with the Mark V. So I thought that this was a fair comparison just because of the color schemes. They're very similar. It's red and silver, although obviously the Mark III is very shiny and glossy, and it's a chrome version, while the one on the left, the Mark V, is just regular silver and red. Now, the thing that amazes me is that, number one, yes, the Mark V is a newer version of the suit, but for some reason I like the Mark III a little bit more. I just feel like the suit is more buff and more thick, in my personal opinion. And I gotta tell y'all, also, it is much more heavier than the Mark V. The Mark V might be the lightest figure of the diecast figures for Iron Man, but this thing right here, the Mark III, might be the heaviest Iron Man I have ever received from Hot Toys. I'm not sure if he's the heaviest figure, period. I would have to collect other Iron Man figures. I would love to see how heavy Mark I is. I'm hoping one day to also get it in the collection. But for now, I love the fact that I'm starting to get just different figures from Iron Man. In my collection tour, I was able to kind of show you guys my quote-unquote iron, the Hall of Iron, even though it's just like 5 or 6 figures. But slowly but surely, I want to keep building this Iron Man collection, try to collect as many as I possibly can. I'm just a big fan of the guy, and to me, he has so many nice costumes and designs that it's really nice to have a big collection of it. So between these two figures, I personally like the Red and Chrome Mark III a little bit better. Let me know in the comments what you guys think between the comparisons between these figures, and how the Red and Chrome version compares to other Iron Man figures that you guys have in the collection. So pretty much this would be it for all of my side-by-side comparisons. Okay guys, just to finish up the video, so a couple of different poses. I gotta tell y'all, with so many Iron Mans collected, I feel like I'm running out of poses. I don't like to show the same exact pose as I did on a previous Iron Man figure. I'm trying to get as creative as I possibly can, but at the same time, I don't want to break the figure. I've been wanting to pose the figure again in a one knee kind of position, which is a very common pose for the guy, but I just don't want to risk breaking it, so I just rather save myself and just do regular poses of him standing up. But one thing that I can definitely mention is that I really love the guy a lot. This guy is a fantastic figure. I love the color schemes. Again, I've said that for the 15th time already, but I just really like the color schemes a lot with the figure. I love the look to it. Is he my favorite Iron Man? I think I want to wait on that. I don't want to be in the moment. At the end of the day, the guy doesn't have like this big display base like the Mark VI suit up gauntry. Also the accessories, it lacks a lot of them, and then also the articulations aren't the greatest for the guy. So for example, in this pose, as you guys can see, the arms aren't as extended as I would have want them to be, or as straightforward, because of that lack of articulation in between his elbows. So the figure itself has some flaws, but still in all, when it comes to, I would say, just making alternative looks for certain figures, to me, I think Hot Toys hit it on the spot with this one. I really love the Red and Chrome version with this guy, but I really hope that Hot Toys can dedicate themselves to doing alternative versions for other characters. I feel like with Iron Man, they've done so many figures that it's like at some point we just want to see other options for other characters as well. So I'm hoping that one day we do get that. So just to finish off the video, guys, as always, want to thank you for supporting the channel. If it's the first time that you're watching me, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also join, so that way you guys can see more figure unboxings. As I mentioned before, I have a lot of figure unboxings coming up, so make sure to have your notifications turned on, so that way you're always updated anytime I do drop a figure unboxing. Also, reminder that I am on Instagram and TikTok. The links to that are on the description of the video if you guys want to go ahead and follow me. So guys, this is going to be it for the Iron Man Mark III Red and Chrome version figure unboxing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.